Never be deceived by what others are trying to portray up front, as you never know the horrific and disgusting reality behind closed doors. Love and happiness are not just something you can communicate to the world through social media. But this is what Jennifer and Sarah Hart had been doing. They both put forward happy lives for years, but in reality, they destroyed 6 lives. The tale of the Hart family is a heart-throbbing tragedy. So let's see if the real monsters got what they deserved. Today's case comes from the northern United States' South Dakota region, where Jennifer Hart and Sarah Gangler were brought up. Jennifer was born on June 4th, 1979, and Sarah was born the same year as Jennifer, but on April 8th. Sarah and Jennifer had a very similar upbringing. They were both the first child of their parents and the eldest among all their siblings. They were both from rural areas. After graduating from high school, they both decided to continue their studies and enrolled themselves in university. They even had similar interests and both wanted to become teachers, albeit Sarah chose to specialize in special education. And as if fate wanted to bring them close to each other, they both transferred from their former universities to northern state universities. There the two met one another. As they were studying the same course, it brought them closer, and in no time they turned from being very close friends to a romantic couple. Sarah and Jennifer kept their relationship a secret because they were from rural areas and South Dakota was not a very open-minded state. They had to tell everyone close to them that they were just very close friends. Jennifer eventually had to drop out of school, but Sarah continued on to earn her degree. After Sarah's graduation, the couple decided they no longer wanted to stay undercover, so they both came out to their families and friends. They did end up losing most of their friends, but that didn't stop them, and soon after, they both packed their bags and moved to Alexandria, Minnesota. They soon started settling into their new place. They were both working at the biggest department store in town. Jennifer and Sarah were doing almost everything together, from working to living under the same roof. Being in their mid-20s, they felt they needed something more to add to their relationship, so they started applying to adopt a child. They qualified, and then in 2004, they took in a 15-year-old foster daughter for themselves. The girl's name was Lee. The first few months were very nice. They went on vacations and outings. But 6 months into their adoption, the couple started to complain about the girl. They sneered about her habits and attitude to everyone. And even though Sarah and Jennifer were struggling to prove to be good foster parents, they still decided to take their parenting to the next level and announced their plan to adopt more kids. But when they broke the news to Lee, they got an unexpected and unhappy reaction. So 1 week later, Lee was dropped off to what was her routine therapist appointment. But when she got there, she learned the hurtful truth that Sarah and Jennifer were not coming back for her. In 2006, Sarah and Jennifer started their parenting journey once again and adopted 3 new children, 2 girls, Abigail, who was 2, and Hannah, who was 4, and 1 boy, Marcus, who was 7. Jennifer started to post regular pictures on Facebook. She even wrote about their first night as a family of 5, which wasn't so much a cute post, but rather one that had an odd vibe of complaint. She also explained how the kids were not well-mannered, and that it was her and Sarah who had to heal the children. Only 2 years after this adoption, they decided they wanted more kids, and so their hunt began again. And later, in 2008, they were given 3 more children. 2 of them were boys, Devontae, who was 5, and Jeremiah, who was 4, and 1 girl, Sierra, who was 3. With increased family members came more problems. Not much longer, the couple started receiving calls from the school over abuse allegations, as Hannah had bruises on her legs. And when the teachers asked her what had happened, she told them that one of her mothers had hit her with a belt. As expected, Jen and Sarah denied all the allegations and closed the topic by saying that the bruises had resulted from playing. Not long after this incident, the children were taken out of the school and re-enrolled at a new one. Jennifer used social media as a means of sharing how much of a happy family they all were. They took the kids to festive events, outings, and on many adventures. The family moved from Minnesota to Oregon in 2013 as a result of this shift in lifestyle. After moving, Sarah and Jennifer decided to get married and went with Jennifer's last name for the whole family. They were now the Hart family. Jennifer then started a feed on the internet and was posting a lot about her family. She posted all sorts of their pictures, whatever activity they were doing and wherever they went on a trip. Jennifer posted about it publicly. Her posts were about the value of family and love, and both Jennifer and Sarah received love from social media for taking care of the kids. Although their happy life was being praised on the internet, the reality was quite harsh. The school began to notice bruises on the children's bodies. The kids even explained to their teachers how they were locked inside and not given food, and that was why they would steal food from other children. Abigail was once accused of stealing something from Jen, who as a punishment doused her head in ice water and slapped her with the back of her hand. But before anything could be done, all 6 kids were removed from the school once again and sent to private schools. Even the neighbors started to call Child Protection Services as they claimed that the children feared Jen. They said she controlled the kids and even withheld food from them, telling them that they'll only get food when they pose for a picture or do as she said. The real public attention to the family came in 2014, when a picture of Devontae hugging a police officer during a Black Lives Matter protest went viral. It gained media attention and was even featured by many news channels. Jen had always wanted media attention, and she achieved that. But in 2016, her social media account went silent. It was only in 2017 that she returned and started posting again. The Hart family moved to Woodland, Washington, as matters with CPS became more heated. The move was done in silence as they did not want to alert CPS. However, after they moved, Jennifer's posts resumed. The happy faces were up again. Sadly, though, these kids suffered major maltreatment. Hannah Hart, then 15 years old, was subjected to such severe abuse that in the middle of the night she leapt out of her bedroom window and ran to their neighbor's home. Hannah was pleading for food and begged her neighbors not to send her back home. Soon after, the other members of the Hart family began searching for Hannah. Jennifer claimed that Hannah had merely done this for attention. Following this occurrence, the neighbors called CPS to inform them of the abuse the kids were experiencing. Even though Hannah sent the DeCarb family an apologetic letter, the tone of the letter did not indicate that it was written by a 15-year-old. Even after this situation was resolved, Donna DeCarb couldn't stop worrying, so she began to watch over her neighbors. She kept a notebook where she wrote down everything, including how the kids were being punished and not being fed. The DeCarbs then had another tap on their door shortly after, but this time it was Devontae. He begged the DeCarbs for food and asked them to put a care package at the edge of their property, but out of sight of his parents. Hannah's statements were real, he conceded, and he urged them to contact social services. Social services were notified, but when they came to the house, they received no response at the door. They didn't come back until 3 days later when they discovered the family had fled. The driveway was covered in cinder blocks. It was clear they left in a hurry. On March 24th, 2018, Sarah and Jen told the children that they were going on a surprise road trip, so they all got into the family truck and left. They left so abruptly and hurriedly that they knocked over the driveway entrance wall in the process. The family did take road trips often, but this time was different. Not only because they left so quickly, but because Jen usually kept her social media following aware of everything they did, and this time she didn't. They went all the way to California, and the last time they were spotted was at a gas station, where they stopped to buy some food. None of the kids were seen as they were kept inside the car. On March 25th, Jen was spotted at a Safeway. The couple then stopped by a nearby Walmart, where they bought a large bottle of Benadryl. They then returned to the car, and when Sarah was making sandwiches for everyone, she added Benadryl into each of their sandwiches. They all ate, and Jen consumed several beers. After they were all fed, they got back into their seats and started their journey again. Jen was driving, and after leaving Walmart, they continued back to the coast again. Sarah, on the other hand, was busy searching strange questions on her phone, such as, how many pills of Benadryl did it take for a 130-pound woman to die? And, is dying painful? And, how long did it take to die of drowning and hypothermia? With everyone inside the vehicle and a clear view of the coast, the family pulled to a stop along a cliff in Westport, California. Jen then pressed the pedal, sending the truck over the edge with the family inside. Police were alerted about the car crash on March 26 near the base of the cliff. Police arrived on site and observed the overturned car with the bodies of Jeremiah, Abigail, and Marcus nearby. The bodies of Jen and Sarah were also recovered, but 3 bodies were still missing. There was hope that they might have survived, and a missing report was even issued, but 2 weeks later, Sierra's body was discovered, and 2 months after that, a small foot was discovered that belonged to Hannah. However, to this day, Devontae's body has still not been recovered. There was no trial or sentence for this case. The police initially thought that it was an accident, but the evidence proved otherwise. The drift marks on the cliff proved that the car sped up quickly. Furthermore, when the police went to the Hart family home, they noticed that the house appeared like no kid had ever lived there. Lastly, the kids were underweight after autopsies were done on them, proving that there was definitely abuse occurring in this house.